Congratulations, Jim. How are you feeling after yet another victory in the UFC?
Feeling pretty good. That was a good first round. I knew he was going to come out and scrap hard and fight hard. Like envisioning myself in that position, it's awesome as a fighter. Like I think that some people might buckle, but I think a majority of us fighters will do the damnedest to rise to that occasion and fight hard, and he did. Like I said, it was a good scrap in that first round, and I was able to connect, early in the second.
Is that straight left, right, that just seemed to get him land over and over again? You managed to catch it over the top. Is that one you knew that was going to be there, or you just found it early and knew, like, oh, it's still working, I'll keep throwing?
It was more just a reaction type thing. We knew that he was going to drop his hands a little bit when he throws his shots. So, I've landed some good counter shots throughout my career, just never, folded somebody like that. So, it's a fight, and I was planning on being it painful and getting hit and getting mat burn like I did again. So like I've always said that fighting hurting is like a swimmer getting wet. It's part of the game. So just being in that scrap, I was just ready to bite down on my mouthpiece and throw, and I was expecting his hands not to be fully up there, so that's what happened, and I landed a good shot.
You said that I've never folded someone like that before. Isn't it quite nice at this point to still be adding new experiences?
It is, this old dog's got a couple new tricks. It's just the way it goes. Normally, there was a little voice in my head that was like, pounce on him, try to choke him, But I knew, like, there's that little bit of a difference when somebody's hurt or somebody's out, and I felt it, and it's like hitting water. Kind of just like a very soft feeling. It's weird when you hit somebody good, and I felt it, and I saw him buckle, and it was just like, I've flash knockout a couple of different guys, and some guys have come back and beat me after it. So, it was just stay on them and keep throwing. Don't even worry about pouncing on the neck at that point, and just hit a couple more shots because I knew I had plenty of time.
I'm curious if you could put yourself in his shoes, which you think would be, for you at least, would be the more intense experience. He was in the apex, not a lot of people, but a lot of people there to see him. So you're fighting at that close quarters to your friends and family, or would be in a big arena, oh God, I'm fighting a legend and all these people are cheering for him and booing me. Which to you would be the harder one to go to?
The big event. Being at the big place, I think at this point, being in front of the fans, I think I would have had a good crowd against me, cheering for me. Where it was a decent amount of people there for him, and it almost felt like I was on a local show, in his place. It's kind of like best case scenario is like you come in, you're fighting somebody that's been in the organization for a long time, and then you're able to get a few fans and family members. And it's not super big. It's not super, intense. So like, I kind of feel like that was like the worst case scenario that he could have given me.
It's funny. I feel like UFC 300 has sort of become part of your story. Every time you're out here in front of us, it's like, oh, UFC 300, UFC 300. Mm-hmm. That aside for one moment, what's the next move for you now? Go home, take a little rest, and then come back, or do you want to get back in right away? What's the next move?
It's at this point, it's easier for me to stay. In the gym. Unfortunately, that's kind of like why I'm the whole number thing. It's arbitrary to me. It doesn't really matter because it's like I've had probably about six month blocks of time between fights. They've kind of like shelved me a couple times, So, and this was the same. It was the last time I fought was in April. So now, granted, that was me, getting COVID and stuff like that. But I would love to be able to stay in the gym and come back and fight in 3 to 4 weeks. Or I think 3 to 4 weeks, 3 to 4 months.
They put your hand up.
Yeah, maybe. Like I got the stitches, so I can't. But I'd like to be back in January, February. That would be ideal for me, not to wait another like 6-month layoff. You know, I've had 2 long ones after I fought Diaz and after I fought Healy, like way back. You know, we're talking like almost a decade. And I did well after those because I was injured. But a lot of the longer layoffs I've had, I haven't done well after. This is probably the successful one that's been 6 months or more. So, yeah, Sean, I'd want to fight. 4 months, let's go. You know, like it's I like to fight, and the camps are the tough part. You know, and that's I've kind of feel like I've got a good grasp on it, and I've been able to stay healthy with it. I've got a fantastic team, fantastic coaches. You know, so I think we've got everything kind of dialed in. It's just keeping my body healthy and like I said, just staying in the gym. It's too easy at this point. Like there's too many stuff going on with life and family that kind of pulls me out. So yeah, I'd like to fight in January, February.
Congrats on number 22.
Thank you very much.
And I say this sort of jokingly because I can't even remember what I did last week, but I want to ask you if you remember who it was and when you got your last stoppage by strikes in the UFC.
Oh, don't do that to me.
I won't make you work too hard.
I mean, the Charles, right? Like, I don't know. The strikes?
By strikes, how they were trying to say it, it was going back to UFC 200, Takanori.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Brain fart.
But that's crazy. I mean, what is it? I mean, I think a lot of times I think with what you were dealing with your career, and you even kind of said it, a large portion of your career you were dealing with health issues, the Lyme issues, and the other stuff. Here it is. I think you just set the UFC record for like the most fights and all these things going on, and you're now knocking dudes back out again. I mean, what does that say to just the level of how good you're still able to fight at another level? We saw Arlovsky go out there and get a nice victory. We got the veterans out here just killing these young kids. But what do you say to that, knowing that here it is, this many fights, and you're still putting dudes out?
You know, like I've been super lucky with the injuries. I think that's one of the things. But honestly, man, like I was kind of born for this shit. I haven't. I'm gonna knock on wood. I have not had surgery other than getting a wisdom tooth out. Like I've been super lucky, but I'm made to fight. I was born to fight. And I've had to deal with some bullshit along the way. Because I'm still a human, and I've had to deal with, fucking mono and a kidney infection, and I've had injuries happen in the fights, and I had no control over getting bit by a stupid fucking tick. But like I was born to be here. I was born to be in the octagon. I was born to be fighting. So like I'm trying to do what I can. I don't worry about all that stuff though. Like I don't it doesn't keep me up at night. I'm not super like pissed off about it and like, oh well, I got sick, or when I fought Diaz, I suffered an injury that the podiatrist, it's more funny than anything. The podiatrist that I saw that works for worked for the Giants at least, he said like, yeah, this is an ankle injury that we see in like 50, 55-year-old women that fall downstairs. Like he's like, we don't see healthy athletes tearing their extensor muscle, so yeah, it's like roll the dice and here you go. So I've had to deal with the bullshit, but I don't care. As long as it happens to me, I'm happy with it. Like I know that my peers and other fighters have dealt with stuff that like outside of themselves and outside their physical issues that they've had to deal with in family. And I'd much rather have a broken body and still be doing this after 38 fights than something happened to my kids or something like that. So yeah, like I said, I embrace it. I embrace every opportunity. I embrace every opponent because I don't get to fight by myself. So I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying every opportunity that I get to step into the octagon and mix it up with the toughest and best athletes in the world.
I mean, speaking of that, I mean, there's never been a question about your toughness and your passion for the sport. And now knowing that you are the guy with the most UFC fights, you know, some people might say, oh, it's genetics or it's heart. For you, what has been the key to make it to that point? Is it the heart? Is it the toughness? Is it the belief in yourself? Is it part genetics? Is it part, you know, some people are just too dumb to quit, you know? I mean, but what is it for you that has been the secret to how you are the way you are?
A little bit of everything. It's not one thing, you know. Like I said, it's been luck. I haven't had to deal with you know, the bullshit injuries that some of the other fighters have had to deal with. You know, I'm definitely deal with stuff. I definitely have dealt with the illnesses and injuries and shit like that. But like, I get the choice to do it. I get, like, even when I have a tough camp, I still get the choice to fight. You know, like, I could say, hey, you know, like, I'm banged up, I'm sick, I'm injured, and pull out of a fight. But like, I just love it. So it's probably a little genetics. It's luck. It's being smart in training. You know, like, I've got a fantastic group of coaches and teammates around me, and you know, there are some people that I've had to kind of push out of my life over the years. But like, the ones that are still with me today, man, like, I wouldn't trade them for the fucking world. You know, they've helped me get to this point and helped me every step of the way. And it's family. It really is. You know, and like, I care about these guys, and they care about me, and I know that. So like, having a great group of trainers and training partners, and my family that is behind me, and yeah, genetics, luck, being stubborn as a fucking mule. I mean, like, it all adds up, you know. Like, it's there's so much. There's no one thing.
And then I guess lastly, for you know, I don't know if you had words with Erick afterwards, but what do you say to a guy, a young stud on his way up, but just happened to run into a force of nature like yourself? What do you tell the young fighters like him that maybe run into roadblocks when they're let down, or they maybe don't perform to the level that they could have?
You know, just keep your head up and don't listen to the fucking bullshit. Like, I've trained with so many very talented guys and gals over the years that couldn't handle, you know, one troll on the internet, or, you know, or even not even troll, like, you know, the fucking losers that, like, oh, you know, they went to high school with them and they complain. You know, Erick got to fight in the UFC on short notice. That's fucking awesome. Like, I mean, keep your head up and back to the grindstone and get a full camp for another fight, and you know, come out and have some fun. Embrace it. You know, like my coach Martin, every time it's you get to fight. You don't have to fight. You get to fight. Like, I mean, obviously there are times where it's like, you know, oh fuck, I need the money, and I've had to fight, you know, but like, it's still an opportunity. I've earned the opportunity to fight here. I've earned the opportunity to fight here this long, and I embrace it every time. And every one of my peers should embrace it. Like, we got to be the first sport back with all this bullshit going on, and you know, I'm really thankful. You know, like, I'm super thankful to everyone in the UFC, the whole staff, like everyone that's busted their butts so that we can come in here and do this and get paid to do what we love to do and put on a show for the fans. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. So I would tell him to embrace it, have fun, and, you know, use it as motivation. Come back, fill up the holes, and take it out on the next guy.
Well, congrats on the victory, and at the risk of sounding cheesy, it's very inspirational to see you still doing what you do and doing it at such a high level.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Jim, just for fun,
Yes.
And congrats on the big win.
Thank you.
Living legend, that's awesome. Perfect camp, the fighters available. Robbie and Nick just had a rematch, almost a decade in the making. If you could get one back, what's that name that sticks out for a rematch?
Ooh, there's a few. I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't. I don't know. I mean, hey, I'd like to get a few, and then if the stars align, and Oliveira keeps it, I'll fight him a third time. Like, that one kind of pissed me off. That second one, went out and he steamrolled me after I steamrolled him the first time. So, like, yeah, I'd love to do that again. But honestly, like, any one of them and any one of the new guys, I enjoy it. I enjoy the whole process. I enjoy any of the guys, and I'd like to go up to 70s and fight some of these guys too. Like it doesn't matter. I just want to fight.
Excellent, man. That's anytime, anywhere. Old school. Thank you,
right.
sir.
Thank you.